Whenever I've talked to you before, and whenever I've written about you, I use the same word over and over, risk. I don't know of any actor, actress that takes so many in a role, and I don't know if that's on purpose, to interest you, to challenge you every time, but you look at your filmography.
And I am schizophrenic.
But it's fearless choices.
It's not fearless, because there's an enormous amount of fear at times, but it's curious, and I'm always interested in exploring human nature and the human condition, and I actually feel safer and closer in the world when I do that, if that makes sense.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Playing Celeste made me feel closer to women, makes me a part of the world, and gives me more understanding. And I'm fascinated, obviously, with directors who have very, very strong visions and are very bold and powerful in their storytelling and their filmmaking. So they always entail characters that are usually pretty strange. I mean, but yeah, and I love directors and I love acting. I love acting.
When you work with these directors, you've worked with just this amazing list of world-class directors, obviously Stanley Kubrick, Park Chan-wook, Lars von Trier.
Yeah. Yeah.
On and on and on. You look at that
Jane.
list. Yes.
Yeah.
What is it? Do you look at the director first? Do you look at the role first? Is it a combination? How do you choose here?
I'm so random. I would love to say that I have this really sort of decisive way of working and making decisions, and I am just completely random and spontaneous. If I feel it, I do it. If there's something in the story that I love, if there's a director that I just love, then I go, I don't even need to read the script. What do you need me to do? I mean, I'm that. I'll do favors for friends. I'm like, I'm so, but that's how I work, you know. I'm like, okay. And I like that to take some of the weight off it, because artistically, I want to explore things. I want to fail at times, because I need to fail to get back up again. And to not be afraid, if that makes sense. And so when I went in, I did a play in London, I was terrified, absolutely like stage fright that was, but it felt amazing to get through it. And then to tell the story of Rosalind Franklin, who was the scientist that I was playing at the time. Yeah. So the purpose of that was like, oh, I need to push through something, and I must tell her story.
And that's what you're doing in every medium now. Obviously, theater. You've done a lot of that, mixing it with movies.
The theater is important for me. Yeah. I hadn't done it for 17 years, but the discipline of the theater, the emotional discipline that's required, the 8 shows a week. I mean, as an actor, it's a part of the scope of being an actor that I say that must be a part of my body of work. I have to have it be there, and particularly. There's amazing roles, there's great roles on stage. Yeah. And it is dangerous being on stage. It feels like, whoa. Yeah. But at the same time, it's the immediate reaction with the audience is so gratifying. It's right there, and you go, oh, I remember this. This is what I do it for. This is the audience. I can feel them and breathe them in.
You started young in acting then. You were
I would catch 2 buses and a train to get to a Saturday morning class when I was that age, because my parents wouldn't drive me, because they had this thing of, if you want to do something, then you have to want to do it. We're not making it easy for you to get to do it. Wow. So I would get up, I'd set my alarm, and I'd get up and I'd catch the trains and the bus, and I'd be like, okay, I'm there. But I would look at the timetable and if occasionally my dad would get up in the morning, and I would hope he would do this, and be like, oh, he'd be, sleepy, and he'd be like, I'll drive you in this morning, Nikki. But I would get to that drama class, and I would spend Saturday there, and really? All my friends would be at the beach or playing, but I just wanted to be in the theater.
Wow, and why was that? Was that
because I just found, I just felt good there. I found the stories compelling. I loved exploring the stories and the people and the characters, and I loved the conversation and the psychology. And I mean, I was that engrossed at that age in those things. And I think I probably had a very vivid imagination. I mean, I had a very vivid imagination. I had an enormous amount of things going on in my head, and it felt safe there. The things that were going on, it was like, oh, okay, there's like-minded people in the world, and there's places to put all these intense emotions. And my mother said I was an intense child, so
so play it
she
out.
always says, she still says it.
Play it out on stage. Was there a certain turning point for you in going and making films where you decided, I'm now going to do the kind of films I want to do? I'm talking about roles like Rabbit Hole and Birth and different ones where, you know, maybe your agents say, hey, I got something that's going to make you a ton of money, but you're going for these indie...
I go for, there's no money. You will be sitting in a car waiting because there'll be no trailer. I think I'll go wherever wherever I feel is the right place to be. I don't view it, it's art. It's not a business, it's art, you know. So for me, artistically, that's the sort of the road I walk. And then at the same time, you know, you're in a place where you can do things like endorsements, things that can help fund you in terms of living, but I realized pretty early on that artistically that wasn't going to be the place where I was going to be able to make any money, because a lot of times the things I want to do are just, you know, you're barely able to get the finances to get the thing made. Yeah. As I said, you do a lot of begging.
Well, you certainly work.
But I also like to find people, new people, writers and directors, and be able to help them and put my weight behind them, whatever it is, so that I can help them get their leg up and get started, because I was given that. So, and I'm in a place at this stage in my life where I can support female directors over and over again. It's a very conscious choice. It's not, I'm not going to go for 2-3 years without working with a woman. I will seek them out and will continue to do it, because that's part of what I feel is important right now.
And Jane Campion, speaking of female directors, the only one so far to have won the Palme d'Or in Cannes.
Is
yes,
she the only
she is
female?
the only one. And she's back, and you're in Top of the Lake, the television.
Well, I mean, I've known her since I was 14, so to be able to go back repeatedly to the people, as I said, that's part of being friends. I believe this industry is built on friendships as well. And artistically, you call on your friends at times and you go, here, I've written you a role, come on in. And it was just great to be able to go down there and be the center of her attention for a few weeks.
And it's interesting.
Like, come on, Jane, focus on me. Because it's lovely being the center. I always say, like, and Baz Luhrmann being the center of his attention is really, you feel good.
Yeah.
So having Jane, you know, that mind and all of that Jane is, her focused on you, it's like, oh.
I always look forward to seeing what you're doing next. In fact, I heard you may be doing Aquaman, playing Aquaman's mother, is that right?
If they can work out the schedule and everything.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's
that would be in
Yes, it's in, well, James Wan is Australian, and he's a friend of mine, and I love him, and I think he's going to make an amazing movie.
Another great director.
And he's always we've always circled each other, and so when he came to me with it, I was like, James, I'll do anything for you. When he said, female warrior from the sea, I went, who wears mother of pearl, I went, yes. Female warrior from the sea.
Something you haven't
Me
played
like.
before. Always look forward to seeing what you're going to do. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.